Howdy everyone. Welcome to This Old Vegan. My name is Merlene Vassal. In this video, I'd like to show you some of the veggies that I reaped from my garden, as well as talk to you about how a nun ruined my harvest. If you saw my previous videos about starting seeds indoors and planting the seedlings outdoors, then you know how much work and effort and time I put into growing some vegetables this past summer. I expected to harvest a whole lot of string beans, green peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, and even a couple of onions. However, in reality, the pickings were mighty slim. I didn't take pictures of everything, but I'll share with you the pictures that I do have. This is most of it. It actually really wasn't very much. What I told myself was that it seemed to be a really unusually rainy summer, and I figured that that had something to do with my low yield. I had even complained to my neighbor that I had plenty of green tomatoes, but for some reason they weren't ripening and turning red. Then something very strange and interesting, but mostly strange, happened. On August 26th, at about 8:30 in the morning, I went to open my window to get some fresh air and looked out over into my vegetable garden, and I saw someone who was dressed like a nun, so I'll assume she was a nun, picking my tomatoes. Surprised, I asked her, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And she said, "The tomatoes are just rotting on the vines, so I'm taking them." And she continued to pick the few tomatoes that had been turning red and put them into a plastic produce bag that she had with her. So I was still stunned and didn't really know how to react. So all I could say was, "Well, please leave at least some of them for me." And she kept on picking, looked at one that I guess wasn't good and tossed it on the ground. And she picked all of the tomatoes that were starting to ripen, and then she just left and went on her way. I really wish that I had thought to take a picture of this, because I don't think anybody would believe this story. But I was just so stunned that it didn't even occur to me to document this conversation. Later on, thinking about what happened, it occurred to me that she was putting the tomatoes into a plastic produce bag, which means that she was prepared. And that got me to thinking that maybe all along throughout the summer, she is the one who was taking the tomatoes as they ripened, thinking that they were just going to rot on the vine otherwise. I only live about half a block from a large church, so it would make sense that she was passing by my property, and the red of the tomatoes would have caught her eye. And I guess she just decided that it made sense for her to pick them herself. Now, if you've watched many of my videos, you know that I will feed pretty much any type of animal or insect that comes into my yard. So certainly if a person came in and wanted to get vegetables from my garden, I would happily give them to the person, to anybody. What was disappointing to me is that she didn't ask. Clearly, if she had asked for the tomatoes, I would have, just told her to take whatever she wanted. The good thing about what happened is that it gave me a little story to tell to make my otherwise depressing harvest video a little bit more entertaining. So I was happy that I did get a few string beans, a few tomatoes, a few very small green peppers out of my garden. I also got several eggplants, and those were well worth the effort because they were absolutely delicious. So, will I plant a vegetable garden again next year? Absolutely. Even though it's probably not worth the effort for the tiny bit of vegetables that I got out of it, I really love getting out in the yard and out into nature and doing a little bit of work in the garden. So it's worth it to me anyway. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave your thoughts and questions in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.